Steady swims and lose control on the Virgin Radio Breakfast Show. We have many special guests on the show, and here comes another. Bassus, over to you.
Our next guest is truly, actually, properly Zen out of 10. He's a Buddhist teacher, best-selling author and founder of the School of Broken Hearts. His new book, When Things Don't Go Your Way, Zen Wisdom for Difficult Times, is out now. So, amen to that. It's Haemin Sunim.
Good morning, Haemin.
Good morning.
How are you?
Very good.
Can you tell people listening a little bit about your life? Can you give us a small history of your life so far?
I'm a Buddhist monk. I was born and raised in South Korea, and I went to school in the U.S., and I was professor for a while, and then I decided to go back to South Korea and start this non-profit organization, School for Broken Hearts, because South Korea has the highest suicide rate, and people are suffering a lot of mental health crisis there. And then while I was helping other people, I was offering different kinds of advice, and that became a book. And that became a bestseller. And now it's published in the UK as well. The new one, When Things Don't Go Your Way, it is one extensions of my work.
It's a beautiful book. It's small, perfectly formed. It's absolutely packed with wisdom, and it's gentle. It's a gentle book.
Thank you.
How did you get from South Korea to the US? What happened there?
I was very much interested in different culture and different type of religion, and so I wanted to see what lies beyond South Korea when I was 18 years old. So as a youngster, I was interested in maybe by going to different places, I can learn more, and not just about other culture, but also about myself, and it worked.
So what did you learn about yourself in your earlier years, in the transition from South Korea to the US? What did you learn about yourself then?
I realized that I actually do like my own tradition. Prior to going abroad, I looked down and I didn't really appreciate it, what South Korea, the culture has to offer, and the philosophy and religion, the traditions. And I had renewed, appreciations of my own traditions.
Yeah. So you had to sort of zoom out before you could see the wonder which you were surrounded by every day.
Absolutely.
Give us the sort of principles of the things in South Korea that you're talking about.
You mean the situations in South Korea?
So the wisdom that you couldn't understand that you were benefiting from just by being South Korean, the standards.
Well, it comes out of my own Buddhist traditions. That is, we are actually interconnected beings. We are not isolated and separate and lonely beings. If you actually investigate everything we do, we are surrounded by other people, and we are surrounded by other people's ideas and feelings and responsibility. So this very interconnected nature, if we can actually delve into it, then a lot of modern day problems that we are experiencing nowadays, such as loneliness, or like burnout, or jealousy, all of that can be somewhat healed.
Yeah. Burnout's interesting, isn't it? Because burnout is often happens because we are not doing things that our own true nature is aligned with, and because we are trying to do the right thing, and because we have enough energy for a temporary period of time, we keep doing something, but it is exhausting. And the more you do something that you're not aligned with, the more exhausting it will become, even if you do it for the best intentions. And if you do something that you're aligned with, you seem to have this infinite flow of energy, and it seems much easier. It's not easy is the wrong word, but would it be fair to say that that's sort of how you felt in America in the end?
I think, burnout, we feel that because we, lost sight of our first intentions, why we decide to go into that field. And we just think about our own, health, and, only while forgetting the first reasons why we decided to take on that road. So I think it's important to reconnect to our first intentions.
Yeah.
But at the same time, check in with your own body. How does my body feel? Instead of just thinking, being entrapped in your own thinking mind and feel as though you are the victim of all those thoughts.
Yeah. Because you can leave your body behind, can't you? But the problem is your body will always catch up with you because it can't sustain this sort of misunderstanding between your whole body yes and whole body no. So you're in America, you're really successful as a professor, and then you have this, is it an awakening? Is it an epiphany? What happened? Why did you, I mean, I know why you gave it because I read the book, but what were the circumstances around your realization that you had to go back home?
Because I wanted to make a bigger impact.
Right.
I was able to start non-profit organizations. Because as a professor, I could only maybe influence 100 person, per semester, but in Korea, I was able to, make a, huge impact,
but you
serving.
hoped you would. You weren't sure, were you?
Right. In the beginning, I wasn't sure. And a lot of people say, oh, don't do that. Why do you want to give up your good job, when you, as a professor, but I had this, burning mission. Maybe I should go back and help other people in a real way, as opposed to, just being academic.
So you go back to South Korea. What happens next?
And then I start this non-profit organizations, and people who are like, for example, just recently diagnosed with cancers, I bring them together, and then we do a support group. And people who are just recently divorced, and I bring them together, and then do the support group. People who have low self-esteem, suffering from not finding a job, I bring them together. And then it's interesting because when we get together, there's a lot of empowerment, a lot of understanding about each other's, and also finding hope at the same time.
And so, but you weren't certain this was going to work.
No, I didn't.
A lot of your friends said, but you're really successful. You're in North America. People love you. You're really successful. No. But you had this calling from your soul.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you go back there and you set the organization up. When did you know it was working?
Well, when I saw, people's response, especially after maybe 5 or 6 sessions, they feel so much better. They find hope. They feel, I can just go on rather than just giving up.
Yeah, and you take your practices with you on a daily basis, your Zen Buddhist practices, and there are a number of these, aren't there? Is it 200? There's a specific number of principles. What are they called?
Are you talking about precept?
Yes, your precept. This is it. So there's precepts for lay practitioners,
right?
And there's precepts for Zen
Monastics.
Buddhist monks. Is it 227 or?
Yes, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Because I try and live by the first 14.
Oh, wow.
And it does help. It helps enormously.
Yeah, and think of it as good habits. This is going to help you, for better mental health, and also better physical health.
Yeah.
And this will guide you to happiness.
Yeah, I live by the Righteous Eightfold Path. And I can't adhere to it every day, but I try. And I can't tell you how much it helps me in my life. What is your daily ritual? How does your day begin?
My day begins with the recitation of Buddhist, sutra, and then prayer. And oftentimes I do it with my parishioner, with my members. But at the same time, I try to do some walking meditations. I love to walk around in nature. So immediately after that, I go to my favorite park and then enjoy, walking. And slow down and try to appreciate. Yeah, like one of the reasons why we feel so, depressed or unhappy is because we lost our mind in our own, thinking, in our own thoughts. So one of the ways to, come out of those entrapment is to really see what's in front of you rather than living in your own thoughts. And of course, when you are outside in beautiful nature, it feels like, everything is spacious. Yeah. So whatever thought you have, the negative thoughts, it is just a one little, thoughts. It's not the huge, something that's going to just pull you down. So it gives you better perspective.
We were talking about this yesterday. So a friend of mine had some unfortunate news, and we were talking it out. And we can all say to each other and ourselves, "What's wrong?" And that is a valid question, and there is often something that is wrong. But if you ask yourself the opposite question, what's right?
Right.
There are thousands of things on a daily basis that are right in everybody's life, and there's maybe one thing wrong, and we park all the things that are right. And nature reminds you to be overwhelmed by the good things, not the bad things.
Absolutely. Overwhelmed by the beauty
Yeah.
and the impermanence too,
Yeah.
But the thing is, whatever we zoom in and zero in on, that looks as though it looks really huge, humongous. However, if you can just zoom out and then look around, all the grateful things. One of the ways to feel better about ourselves, our situation, is to look for grateful things, gratitude. I love to text to myself, like a couple of grateful things that I experience daily.
It's in the book, isn't it? You text yourself.
Yes. Or if you have you can have a gratitude buddy.
Yes, you can.
That is, you just send it to each other whenever you see something grateful, thankful. Then that can be a great powerful reminder to feel positive and stay connected.
One of the practices I've been doing recently is as I walk along mindfully, I try to extend my vision or widen my vision as a physical exercise to extend my peripheral view, because I know that sends a message to my amygdala and my whole being that I am more relaxed, because when you're not relaxed, you become focused because you're worried about a threat. And if you can practice widening your vision, it relaxes you, and you become healthier, you become happier, and you become more one with everything else, because you're literally extending the boundaries and the borders of separation.
Absolutely. That's a wonderful practice, Chris.
It's the best.
Yes. Like you are, as you are zooming out, so to speak, all the worries, like all the, anxious thoughts, it just becomes just small, minor things, in comparison to all those wonderful, beautiful.
And it's hard when you first start, because it's hard on your eyes.
Right.
But they just get better at it.
Right. It takes some
like
training.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, you talk about Thich Nhat Hanh, who is I can't believe you used to work with him. I'm really moved. I've really moved to tears that I'm now in the presence of someone who used to work with him, and he remains forever the best proponent of walking meditation. Now, you have experienced a walking meditation with the master of that. What was that like? How did that manifest?
The Thich Nhat Hanh, he used to say that, walk as though your feet is kissing the earth. Right? So there is a intentionality. You are doing it to, as a way to express your connections and love to our Mother Earth.
And oneness.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So rather than, walking as, I have to go somewhere, I have to get to somewhere. Instead, you can say, I'm just going to carve out next, 20 minutes. And I'm going to just really enjoy, step by step, and being aware of my bodily sensation and what's happening in my body, and also to my mind. It's just providing air, providing space.
Yeah. I think it's great, and it's a fullness, isn't it? Because we often mistake and confuse busyness for productivity. We often mistake excitement for joy, which sometimes they're the same, but often they're not. The thing about being aware of what's going on within you and outside of you is that there's a fullness to that. It's not busy, but it's whole. And once you realize that that's what we wake up to every morning, there is nothing missing.
Right. And once you are attuned to your body and also what's happening around you, things are happening without your control.
Yeah.
And I am like, for example, my heart is beating, but I'm not, intentionally trying to make it
Beat
work.
it.
Yeah,
You're being
right.
beated.
Right.
Yeah.
So there is, element of grace.
Yeah,
If you really think about it, there's a grace. Everything is flowing. Everything is just working out.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, when things don't go our way,
Yeah.
we feel frustrated and disappointed and lose hope. But if you actually step back, how many times you were provided with opportunities that initially you never thought of before, And also the opposite is true. That is, even if everything goes way, like the way you hope, oftentimes the result can be something quite negative, like all those people who got divorced or people who are, quit their job. Initially when they got the job or when they were falling in love, they thought this is what I really, really want.
Yeah.
But the result, could be quite the opposite.
Yeah.
So rather than, approaching, something that I already know what I want, and if I get it, then I will be happy.
Yeah.
Instead, have an open mind. You don't know. We don't know, So this mind of don't know mind, don't know mind.
Don't know mind is a big thing, isn't it?
Right.
Don't know mind and know mind.
Exactly.
And beginner's mind.
Beginner's mind, yeah. When we are beginning, we don't know, and thereby our mind is open and willing to listen.
Oh my gosh! And you don't need to go to the cinema because the point is, by all means, go to the cinema, but you don't need to go to the cinema because there's nothing missing. One step on from where you and I are, in this mindset, is SBCH.
Mm-hmm.
I love SBCH. Do you want to talk about that?
Right. I think rather than looking for some big, huge goal, hoping that once that goal is achieved, then I'll be fine and relaxed and happy, I think we should look for small but certain happiness.
SBCH, small but certain happiness.
Right. So, for me, daily, our living day-to-day life, there are certain things that makes me feel really happy.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, for example, I love to go to my favorite coffee shop in the morning, and just there's a between 10 and 11, the coffee shop is very quiet, and I just go there and sit and relax and enjoy the cup of coffee or a cup of tea, and so. If whatever the activity that's going to make you relax and connect it back to your body and to your emotions and feeling, then do that. Give your space and enjoy the activity.
Yeah, whatever it may be. Murakami, who I read as well, great runner, of course, he says, small but certain happiness, an example of such. Listen to this, everybody. Tearing a piece off a loaf of warm, freshly baked bread and popping it into your mouth. The fragrant smell of freshly made coffee in the morning is a time of peace and happiness. While for others, it could be the warmth of the sun on the face, the sight of spring flowers, the feel of a cozy blanket on a chilly day, or simply spending time with your dog or your cat after a day at work. I mean, it's so simple, isn't it?
Right,
and it's so deep and rich.
Right, that's what the life is about, right?
I know.
We just we tend to just imagine, and make a big plan about our future. But when it comes down to it, it's daily activity, little things that we do that matters.
You say here on page 124, this is the book, When Things Don't Go Your Way, by the gentleman I'm talking to now, Haemin Sunim. Zen Wisdom for Difficult Times. Listen to this. If you can control your ambition, you won't overextend yourself. It's so simple, isn't it? If you can control your wants, meet your needs, don't chase your wants. And once your needs are met, zoom out to see that they're met and just enjoy it.
Right,
situation.
right. Contentment. I
Yeah.
think that's what we are, looking for.
Yeah.
And if you just exhaust, oftentimes in the effort to achieve something, big and huge, you overextend, and thereby your body is incredibly stressed, and you didn't spend a lot of time with your loved one.
I feel terrible.
And thereby your close relationship is not as close. So. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Here we go again. The book is full of them. Page 238. The greater a person's success, the simpler their business card. I just love that. I'm going to speak to that a bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, because you don't have to prove. Oftentimes, we are looking for validation from outside. But if your work is good and if you find, a lot of meaning in what you do, then you don't have to, provide extensive, those position. I do this, I do that,
Fanfare.
Yeah, and just, that's what I noticed, actually.
Yeah. Well, that's what Thich Nhat Hanh had, wasn't it? He was so quiet. Apparently his voice has been scientifically proven to have that frequency about it, the frequency that helps your body relax, not just from what he says, but how he says it, and that's because the universe gave him the gift of that particular frequency, wasn't it? And he used it so masterfully and so purposefully. Another master, Yoda. Let's go to Yoda now. Do or do not. There is no try. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I love that because oftentimes whenever I offer some, advice, and people say, "I will try," but in the end, I know that they are not going to do it. When they say, "I will try," often because they are imagining, they are thinking, "In the future, I will do it." But often. You either do it, you don't do it. There's no try.
There is no try. That's great, isn't it? There is no try. Well, I'll try. You can tell from the tone of their voice they're not going to do it. There's another famous monk that used to go around, and he didn't speak English. You may know this story, or you may not know this story. He didn't speak English, but when anybody asked him questions, I know that you have the satsangs as well. They used to come and they used to kneel in front of him and they used to ask him a question, and he would hand them a piece of paper, and all that the piece of paper said was "let go, let go, let go." Can you talk about that, please?
Yeah, oftentimes we suffer because we are so engrossed in a particular, past event. Whoever, said things and we felt offended or we regret, our own regrets. I wish I didn't have, I wish I didn't do that, for example. But, it is all within our mind. If you just look at it, in front of you right now, none of them exist.
Yeah.
It's all in the past.
Yeah.
But by just revisiting and holding on to those events and those thoughts, that's what's creating suffering in your mind. So just let them go. Actually. If you cannot let them go, just take a walk and actually just look at the tree and listen to the sounds of birds. Shift your attention, away from your mind to what's happening in front of you.
And the whole, let go, let go, let go. It does help to let that be, first of all, to sit with it, doesn't it? To recognize it, and then also not to go and anesthetize it by consuming or it's fine to immerse yourself in nature or remind yourself of your breath, but to then drink something or do something that's detrimental to your health as just to make you feel different, that's not the right way to go.
Right. I think we need to honor, whatever the feeling we are having. It can be frustration, it can be sadness or, anxiety. Once we honor and recognize, I have sadness, I have, disappointments, and, investigate how does that feeling of disappointment manifest in our body.
Yeah. And feel it.
Yes, and then usually it manifests, as a tension, around maybe your shoulder, back of your neck.
Mine's here.
Oh, really?
This is my tension dock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then, give a little massage, around that area, and then send this positive. Exactly.
Yeah.
Send a positive message. May I be happy.
Right.
May I be healthy.
Yeah.
May I be peaceful.
Yeah.
May I be protected.
Yeah. You still get stressed, don't you? Thank goodness you do.
Yeah.
In 2020, you were particularly challenged. Can you just give us the highlights of that situation, what happened, how you cope with it, and what you learned from it?
Well, back in 22, I appeared on a Korean TV show because I was making this meditation app, and I just wanted people to know what the app was about. But people took it in the wrong way and start attacking me online, and it was very difficult for me. And that was the moment when I really have to apply what I learned. Yeah. So I realized that whenever good things happen, it also has a negative side
Always.
comes along. Yeah. So being able to embrace both sides, not just one side, good side, but also the difficult and challenging side, and then you begin to really understand who you are.
They say every cloud has a silver lining, but they don't often say every silver lining has a cloud.
Right.
But it's the same thing, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. Whenever if you are going up, and you are bound to come down
Without question.
Yeah, and then guess what, you can also go back again. So this whole rhythm of our lives, we just have to embrace and accept it.
Yeah. We're nearly on time, but there's so much in this book to talk about. I was really, this paragraph stopped me in my tracks. Because I just didn't expect it to come from you. I don't know why. That's because I'm stupid, not because you're stupid. When I think carefully about my life, it seems that my best friend changes about once every 7 to 10 years. If you've grown apart from a friend and are feeling lonely, maybe because they've moved, got married, switched jobs, or just become so busy that they don't have time to see you, wait a bit. The universe will send you a new best friend if you ask for them. There's nothing wrong with changing best friends.
Yes.
Thank God for that. I'm not saying we necessarily need to, but it means we can if we should.
Right, and circumstances change. It's not to say that you lose. You don't have any close, friendships with your, best friends. But things change, and being willingness to embrace that change is a path to happiness.
Wow. I'm so grateful for the fact you exist. Thank you for your book. I really appreciate it. How is South Korea? I'm not somebody who wants to go anywhere. I'm happy here, right? Because I'm, wherever you are, wherever you go, that's where you are, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
But if I wanted to go to one place in the world, I probably would want to go to South Korea. How is it at the moment in South Korea?
It's beautiful. It's, the flowers are everywhere. The weather is perfect.
And what's because it's a really exciting place to be, isn't it? It seems like creatively your government is behind the nation being creative, about spreading the joy and the wisdom and the optimism and the energy of South Korea via the arts. Am I right there? Is that how it is?
Yes. Now a lot of Korean dramas and musics are
amazing
being
movies
appreciated
and music,
throughout the world.
Yeah. And is it an exciting place to be?
Yeah, there are a lot of visitor, even more than 5 or 10 years ago. But I would say, Chris, if you have opportunity, I would like to invite you to Buddhist temple, monastery.
I'm there.
Nestled in the beautiful mountain.
I would love to go.
And then spend, some time for yourself.
Oh, I'd love to do that. What, can you just give me, we're way over time now, but can you just give me a lesson or a couple of lessons that you learned from being in the presence of Tae?
If we can just bring our mind, let's say, you only have 10 seconds to relax, then smile.
Yeah.
And then if you have 1 minute, then take a deep breath, you know. And if you have only, 30 minutes, and have a coffee or tea with your friends. Yeah, and if you have one afternoon, and go to a park and just walk around in nature. So I think if we can just make this, intention to get better and take good care of ourselves, then we'll be able to take good care of others as well.
I love it. If you only have 10 seconds, smile. Never heard that one before. Amazing. Great to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Virgin Radio.